Did you guys know Israel had a secret program that gave money, weapons, material support, and medical aid to ISIS and Al Qaeda? This is the story of Israel's Operation Good Neighbor. Operation Good Neighbor was a massive, semi-secret humanitarian initiative launched by the Israeli Defense Forces to provide extensive civilian and medical aid to Syrian citizens and rebel-controlled villages along the border. The program ran as a dedicated directorate from June 2016 until September of 2018, when the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad recaptured the southern border territory. While the primary mandate of Operation Good Neighbor was providing humanitarian aid to Syrian civilians, the operation gained intense international controversy with the Syrian government, Russia, and various Western analysts who alleged that Israel's border strategy indirectly or directly supported extremist groups like ISIS and Al Qaeda, specifically its Syrian affiliate Jabhat al-Nusra. You see, Israel's absolute highest priority during the Syrian civil war was preventing Iran and its powerful proxy Hezbollah from establishing permanent military front on the Golan Heights border. Because Syrian government forces had fled the border area, secular rebel groups like the Free Syrian Army, Al Qaeda-aligned groups like Jabhat al-Nusra, and ISIS-aligned factions became the main forces fighting Hezbollah and the Syrian regime. So they decided to help the terrorists. By providing secret cash, weapons, and fuel to the local border rebels through the operation, Israel ensured a fighting force remained between Hezbollah and the Israeli border. One of the most controversial aspects of Israel's humanitarian border policy was its medical treatment protocols. The IDF operated on a policy of medical neutrality at that border fence. If a bleeding, critically wounded person arrived at the gate, they were treated or transferred to Israeli hospitals regardless of their ideological affiliation, except for if they were for the Syrian government. In several high-profile instances, journalists and international monitors confirmed that wounded fighters from Jabhat al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, were treated inside Israeli hospitals. Once these fighters were patched up and stabilized, the IDF transported them back to the border and released them. They routinely returned directly to the Syrian battlefield to continue fighting. While Israel maintained this was purely humanitarian, critics correctly pointed out that treating wounded combatants effectively sustained Al-Qaeda's manpower on the border. And ISIS. That is because, unlike the United States, which formed a massive international coalition to aggressively hunt down and destroy ISIS and Al-Qaeda across Syria and Iraq, Israel took a passive approach towards the jihadists on its immediate border. Israel maintained a policy of tactical non-aggression with Al-Qaeda and ISIS factions, provided they did not attack Israel. This dynamic was explicitly highlighted by former Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alan's admission that local ISIS affiliates apologized to Israel after an accidental clash to avoid provoking an Israeli crackdown. But don't worry about that, because Israel forgave them after that attack, after they apologized. For years, Al-Qaeda and ISIS controlled communities right along the Israeli border fence, yet they almost never fired into Israel. The Syrian President Bashar al-Assad even called the IDF the Air Force for Al-Qaeda because Israeli airstrikes in Syria exclusively targeted government and Iranian positions rather than the terrorist ISIS positions. And there was also other explicit admissions, like the Prime Minister's public admission of supporting ISIS and asking everybody what's wrong with that. More J stuff you know, like and follow for more.